Please rise for the invocation and the Pledge of Allegiance. We'll get started. Lord, we are meeting today to conduct matters of business. Guide our hearts and our minds in the spirit of fairness, right thought, and speech. Impart your supreme wisdom upon our activities so that our affairs may reach a successful conclusion. Thank you for being the source of guidance today. Amen.
Amen.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Welcome, everyone, to the January 3rd council meeting. We'll just start with roll call.
Mrs. Lingo? Mr. Parsons?
Here.
Mr. Redding?
Here.
Mrs. Dosa? Here. Mr. George? Mr. Young?
Here.
Mrs. Rissel?
Here.
Okay, to have two members absent, Ms. Lingo did call me, and she is sick. I have not heard from Cordell, if anybody's heard from him or not. Anyway, I'd ask for somebody to excuse Mr. Redding.
I'll make a motion to excuse Ms. Lingo and Mr. Cordell George.
Second.
I'll second it.
Mr. Young is seconded. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion is carried. You have a couple sets of minutes. We'll do the first ones from December 20th. Council meeting. A lot of minutes there for that meeting. We must have been long-winded.
Page 4 at the top, very first line. At the end, the roll call vote should have been 7-0 instead of blank to 0. And then,
Can I check that 1 second?
well, you can look at
Should be-
all the other ordinances were passed 7-0.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5,
Everybody was here.
6. Everybody was here.
And do the minutes get signed by you if Denise led the meeting? Down at the bottom, it's signed by President of Council, but you weren't here. Not sure about that.
You're right, I'm not sure. Denise may have to sign him as president
We've
pro tem.
always, just like Ross
The
will sign.
president signs them? Okay, I
Yep,
just wondered,
tonight. Yep.
Yeah.
That's all I had.
Okay. Does anybody else have anything?
I'm sorry, I was looking at the.
Misspellings, alterations? If not, I would like to ask for a motion to approve the minutes as corrected.
I make a motion to approve the minutes as corrected.
Mr. Parsons has made a motion to approve. Mr. Young has seconded. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion is carried. Minutes are approved. Okay, we had a special meeting on December 27th. And you also have those minutes before you. Does anybody have see any incorrect things here? If not, I'd like to ask for a motion to approve as printed.
I'll make a motion to approve the December 27th meeting.
Okay, Mr. Redding has made a motion to approve the minutes from December 22nd,
27th.
27th, sorry.
I'll second
Mr. Young has seconded. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion is carried, minutes are approved. Correspondence, I do not have any. Is there anybody else that has any correspondence to bring before council? Okay, guest and special events. No guest, no special events. Public input. Jim, it's up to you. Okay, thank you. Mayor's report, Mr. Wolf.
No report tonight.
Golly.
We'll save for work session.
Yeah, okay. City manager's report, Mr. Bauer.
Yes, so there are kind of two memos, and Jim,
I left the extras up here if you wanted. There's one on the Blizzard and one on the Tecan Farm if you're interested. They're up here. There's some pictures. Let's see. First thing, the chief search. Chief Demasi, Vince Demasi, what do we call him now? Just call him Chief Demasi. Last day was Friday. We sent him off. I gave him some golf balls. Sad to see him go. And kind of in regards to that, we are planning a retirement party for him. The Eagles have agreed to host on January 21st. It's a Saturday from 3 to 7. Anybody that would like to show up is welcome to show up and see him off. Nothing too formal, there's not gonna be any
What
formal
was the
invitations
ti-
or anything, just kind of a
What
open
was the
house.
time on that?
3 to 7 on
3 to
January
7.
21st. It's a Saturday.
Will you send us an email? Remind
Did you say send an email? Yeah. Yep. Yeah, so that's, what's that? No, after after Greg retiring, he, Public Works Director, he was adamant about there not being a party. And if we threw him a party, even a surprise party, even one that he knew about it, I mean, it didn't matter either way, he was going to be very upset. So I wanted to make sure Chief Demasi was on board. So the time and date have been confirmed with him. He is fully aware. But yeah, just basically an open house to hang out and wish him well. Let's see, along with the chief search, so I was getting a little bit anxious about this. We only had 2 candidates that I knew of as of today, but we're up to 4 external candidates and 2 internal candidates. I feel like we have a good pool. Tomorrow's the deadline. So should have the full pool of potential candidates by the end of the day tomorrow. And we'll kind of go from there once we get that. But have some great resumes that we've received. Let's see, the snow emergency, the blizzard. This one right here, this was put together by Justin, our Public Works Director. Just kind of details what they went through. Just all the plowing and the salt that they put down. They used a lot of salt, but they didn't have to work on Christmas Day like a lot of municipalities did, so they kind of did all the work up front. There's a picture on the back. The left side's Perry Street. You can see pavement. On the right, I think he went up to visit maybe in-laws or something in Ross, so there's just a comparison of what 27 looked like when he was driving up. Major road, I guess you can say our roads look better than theirs, so we at least have that going for us. So he felt good about the progress that was made. The pictures below are just kind of, they use a new liquid mixture, like a salt brine kind of thing to throw down first. That picture in the middle is an auger that the liquid gets dropped into it with the salt and kind of mixed up before. It's just a new tactic, new strategy that they're using to try to apply to the streets. And on the right, that's just what the liquid dispenser looks like, so. Let's see.
Is 100 tons of salt about all we had in storage?
I forget how much that bay holds. I think they did have to go to Springfield Township and get more.
I thought we were getting it all from Springfield.
We
We had
do-
some on our own?
We do get it all from Springfield Township, but I can't remember if we had to go and use more than what we had in the bay that we had down there. I think, pretty sure that they did have to go get more.
Okay.
Yeah. Let's see, I just have a note here, the resolution that you guys passed for the 250,000, as long as the CIC minutes have been submitted to the CURC, so it's all in their hands now. A CALIA update, we got the unofficial final report, listed all of our standards and processes that were in compliance, but they can't give us a formal yes or no until I think it's probably July that we'll actually get the formal accreditation. But everything so far, the reports we've gotten have looked great. I was just going to mention staffing. Police departments, we have 2 open spots with the approved budget. We've already started testing for it. We've got 1 candidate so far that Civil Service approved the person today, so they're doing background checks and interviews, stuff like that. So if that person were to get hired, there'd still be another open slot. We also have a sergeant who's retiring in April, and with the new chief, it'll be some pretty big changes for the police department over the next year, so should be interesting and exciting. And then I just had a note, I put on your desk just a list of potential committees and stuff. I can save that for the work session, but that's on your desk. I believe that's all I had, unless there's questions.
No questions? Thank you very much, Mr. Bauer. Okay, we have a departmental report from Ben Dagenhalt. Hard from the fire department. I didn't say your name right, Jay.
It's Dagan Hart.
Dana Hart.
Yeah.
Got it right the second time.
That's right. Yes. Yep. You did fine. You did better than most. We're good. I'll start off just the year-end report from 2022. We made 2,020 EMS runs in the year and 317 fire runs. So the quick math for those of you that aren't as good like me, 2,337 total runs that the fire department made with EMS and fire. Our EMS runs, the number one run was for a sick person with 411. That'll fix that part. Second most popular was breathing problems at 249, and the third was falls at 191. We responded to 29 building fires. Those are kind of spread kind of evenly throughout the rest of our possible dispatches. So we can talk about the Tickin Farm run, just occurred in the blizzard on December 23rd.
You do have a memo on that.
Yeah, you get some pictures there that Scott printed up for us. And this is a report from Chief Lawson. Chief Lawson was the first on scene reporting a working fire. Our EMS crews were on an overdose call when the fire came out. So our engine was about 30 minutes behind the original dispatch. In the meantime, though, we had a bunch of mutual aid departments come in to help us out. And due to high winds and low temperatures, the fire was difficult to fight, allowing it to spread quickly through the house. Fire conditions were such that it could only be dealt with from the outside of the structure. Our fire chief would like to thank all the mutual aid departments that provided help. And because as we know, we help them out, they help us out, for anything, especially with the cold weather. It's, even more critical. We had North College Hill help us out, Springfield Township, Coleraine Township, Forest Park, Reading, and we even had a Metro bus come to help keep the firefighters warm as they're coming out, because it gets so cold that you have icicles coming off your gear. They can go into that Metro bus and kind of thaw out. A total of 32 firefighters were on scene to help us out. The building department provided a letter to the owners on the 29th notifying them that the site was causing imminent danger due to unsafe conditions, which enables the owners to press for immediate action from their insurers. So just kind of help take care of things and rebuild. Next, I would like to thank all of you for the new ambulance. I know an email was sent out from Scott earlier today. If anybody didn't get a chance to look at it before the meeting, which I understand, I'll hang around afterwards and we can look at it if anybody's interested, and we'll open up some doors and you can look through there. We greatly appreciate the support for that and funding. It was definitely time to replace the 20-year-old squad. The next oldest, our backup ambulance is a 2010, so hopefully maybe in the next couple of years we'll start planning another to replace that one. To kind of bounce off Scott there, our staffing, we're always looking for part-time personnel just to help kind of fill in spots. We've got one 24-hour shift and 3 12-hour shifts that are available for part-timers right now. We're trying to sort through applications and get people hired. But right now, there's just not that many applications. Nobody's applying, and that's across the board. That's not here. For our full-time spots, we have 2 full-time spots. One is a replacement. We had one of our employees leave to go to the city of Cincinnati, so we need to fill his spot. And then, again, because of you, we were able to add additional personnel, so we're going to fill that spot too. We had 13 applications for the full-time test, which is on January 12th. The agility test will be on January 21st and 22nd, and then interviews will happen after that. Shortly after that, we're hoping to make offers in February, or get them started in February. I don't have anything else on my list unless you have any questions for me.
Does anybody have any questions?
Question.
Yes, sir.
You said there were 300 and some fire runs, and then you said 29 fires. Is that in Mount Healthy versus out of Mount Healthy, or?
That's how many fire responses that we've had. So that's both in and out of Mount Healthy.
Okay.
So it's mutual aid ones.
So the
that-
29 were actual fires, but they weren't all in Mount Healthy?
Correct, yes. Yeah.
And,
Clarify that.
that's okay. And on the Ticken Farms, was there any cause determined on that?
I haven't heard of a cause yet.
Not yet. Okay.
No,
Thank you very much.
you're welcome.
Thank you, Ben, for coming up,
My
giving us
pleasure.
this info.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Okay. Okay, I guess then we move on to our ordinances and resolutions. We do not have second readings on ordinances or resolutions. So we're going to the first reading of an ordinance. Ordinance number 23-2009. An ordinance amending section 30, is that right, section? Is that what that little squiggly little S is? 34-21 of the Mount Healthy, Ohio Code of Ordinances. Scott, you want to go with that, or?
Let's see, which one is this again? Is this the advanced?
Police officers.
Oh, please,
The
I'm
number
sorry.
of full-timers.
I apologize. Yeah, so this, I believe we do this mostly because of the part-time contract. I think in the contract it stipulates that you can't have more part-timers than full-timers. I think that's the main reason we do it. But this is just a reflection of what we did in the budget. We had 14 in the police department before, and we've approved 2 more, so you're just increasing it from 14 to 16. So that'll effectively be that we add 2 more patrol officers. We may change it once we get a new chief, if we want to add a detective or another sergeant, you know, but in general, you're just increasing the total complement from 14 to 16.
Okay. Questions, council? I think everybody was aware of this. Been talking about it for a while.
We can do 2 readings on this, can't we? Since you're not going to be filling these till
Yeah,
end
that
of
should
the
be fine,
month?
yeah.
Or first of February?
I know when it was maybe in 2018 we did this, we actually specified how many, you know, a chief, how many sergeants, detectives. So if you want to, is that what you're thinking, maybe to make it specific or, okay.
Nope.
Because that's kind of being left open, right? Yeah.
Yeah,
like
right
you're
now it's just
saying
a
for the
general,
chief.
you have this many full-time slots, yeah.
I think when the budget, we talk about the budget, we added 2 spots, and we said we'd let the new chief determine if one of them should be either a detective or another sergeant.
Right, I believe detective is is it a tested position? I believe it's a tested position from patrol, and then sergeant as well from patrol.
They're temporarily, what?
If you wanted to add a sergeant
Yeah,
or
you-
detective, it would come from a
Yeah,
a
yeah,
test.
from existing full-time people, yeah, okay.
Yep.
Existing.
But I agreed, yeah, to let that be up to the chief.
First reading, council? Everybody agree to that? Okay,
I think we have to, we only got 5 people here.
yeah, 4, no 5.
Yeah, that's bad.
Okay, move on to our next ordinance. Ordinance 23-2010. An emergency ordinance authorizing all actions necessary to support a governmental electricity aggregation program with an opt-out provisions pursuant to section 4928-20 Ohio Revised Code, directing the city manager of the city of Mount Healthy to execute a supply agreement with Energy Harbor to continue its electric aggregation program beyond April 2023, when the current supply agreement ends.
So this is just electric. Gas is up April of next year. You've got a couple helpers here. This guy shows the current rates as they were quoted today. Basically, this rate's only good, I mean, it's already passed. It'll change, I'm sure, slightly tomorrow, but it should be close to what the rates are quoted here. There's a second one. Here, these are the quotes as of 12/8, and mostly what it's just showing you is that the blue is Energy Harbor, and the orange is Dynegy. IEC is recommending that we go to energy, just seems like across the board, they're more, they are cheaper, less expensive. So if you were to pass this, you would be agreeing to go with Energy Harbor, and then you would tell me what term you would like. So their recommendation is to go with Energy Harbor, and to go with the 24-month. Basically, it's just a midpoint. If we want to go, we can do any of these timeframes that we would like, just kind of depending on how you see the risks in the future.
They were able to change this because we did not sign the agreement by the end of December, is that?
Correct.
Okay, and now we can't pass this tonight, so we'll have to get whatever they have when we pass it.
Correct.
Pray for warm weather.
So we decide if we want to wait till the next meeting 2 weeks from now, or have a special meeting.
Right. So it was 8.64, the 24-month Energy Harbor option, and it's actually gone down to 7.99. Maybe it'll go down, maybe it'll go up.
And Scott, I forget, we're also aggregating with other communities on this too, right? Or was
So
that
with-
just gas?
So with the waste, we are actually
Yes.
contracted with other municipalities. We
Yes.
go as a group, and we get a group rate. This, I mean, they do kind of quote it, I think Silverton, and I think they listed one or two other municipalities, but it's not quite the same. I think it's just more of convenience. They can quote multiple municipalities at the same time, but we're not actually contracted with the group, so it's not really group rate.
Okay,
Really, it's just for Mount Healthy.
yeah, there's strength in numbers.
Right.
Yeah. Okay,
And I guess, just to clarify on this one, this top one is just your typical electric, and this one down here is the option that we've done in the past where you can get renewables. It's a little bit more expensive. Totally optionable option. It's an option for people to sign up. It doesn't change the price for the other one, for the standard pricing for us. So if you want to enable that option again for the next term, you can.
So we're going from 4.87 cents to 7.99 at this point.
Correct.
Now that, residents are able to opt out and go find their own if they can find cheaper, or they can go back to Duke Energy and just take their month-to-month rate. So there's lots of options here available. My opinion would be just wait for the next meeting and pass it and take what we get at that point.
Okay. I mean, if you'd like, I can, maybe in a week or at the end of the week, I can get another quote, and if, if you're really feeling it, you want to call a special meeting, is that, or just wait till the next meeting? I mean, I doubt it would fluctuate that much, but if you were concerned about it. Yeah, that's fine with me.
Maybe it'll go down a quarter.
Yeah,
quarter
may
of a
get
cent
lucky.
or something, and, I mean, the weather's staying warm, so.
and I can tell you the 7.99, even this summer's rates on the spot market were higher than that. So there's rolled a couple of folks in, they came and talked to me, and I said, you need to get into the aggregation plan because it was a lot cheaper
Right.
at the time. But even with the higher rates, I mean, they were looking at 10 cents a kilowatt hour,
Wow.
so.
Are you looking in a particular direction on the term? Again, IEC recommends the 24. Again, it was just kind of a nice midway point for them.
If it comes down, we might go to 36, but, we have to see what we get.
Sure.
I would be curious as to why if there was something specific, or a specific reason as far as why they recommended 2 years versus the 3. What they see in the market.
Obviously cited the war in Ukraine and all these other
Yeah,
factors.
so I
but
read that,
I
yeah.
don't know what in 2 years, what their crystal ball is telling them, but.
Yeah.
Duke's rate for January, did you say was 6.39?
Something like that.
0.39, I believe.
Yeah,
it is.
I read that tonight
That's not too much lower
in
than
the
this.
apples to apples tool. Any other questions?
I guess.
Any other questions or comments? next meeting.
Might be able to lean into Cordell's, maybe.
Okay, so we have first reading on ordinance 23, 2010. Okay, we have a resolution, first reading of a resolution. The resolution is number 23-1198. A resolution requesting the county auditor to make payments of taxes pursuant to Ohio Revised Code 321-34. This we do every year to try to get a little money in early.
Yep, this is one we do every year, every January. We just have it in place in case we need an advancement on our tax levy money.
Did you put the revised one on everybody's desk?
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
Questions, council? First reading?
All we can do.
Yes.
Okay, that is all the legislation that we have, I think.
It is.
Okay, moving on, old business. Yes,
Yeah, I think we need to talk about what we're gonna do on the tax levy. There's May, August, November.
I think it's March, isn't it?
Well, there may be, but I don't, is anything up,
Yeah.
gonna be on the ballot? I don't think there'll be much on the ballot in May either, but,
You're
and
right.
and we have to
You're
pay a
right.
lot to get on the ballot then. My opinion would be wait till November, but some people like to try it in August first, and then if it doesn't pass then, try again in November. That's what we've done many times in the past.
what are other people's reactions? We're gonna put it on the ballot, the levy. It's just a matter of when. Like Bob says, it's either, is it March? That's awful early, isn't it?
We can't
If
get it
it's
on by then.
March, if it's
You gotta file
March,
3 months
it's
ahead.
Ahead of time, yep.
Yeah, you're right.
You couldn't get it on the March,
So that'd be August, wouldn't it?
2023
May,
election
August,
calendar.
November.
Yeah, I even think, I think one of those times, isn't it only 3 times a year now that we can, there was a change to that rule a long time ago.
I'm looking now. No, I'm wrong, it's not March. March isn't presidential the year after. It's May. But I think you're right, I don't know what would be on it unless there's other issues, countywide or statewide.
There's gonna be very little on the November ballot, actually.
Yeah.
So I mean, the only thing to really think about is if you put it on in May and it doesn't pass, you have November. If you put it on in November, then you gotta wait till the next year to put it on, and then you're pushing out the revenue stream till 25.
Now, to get it on in May, we'd have to file by February 1st,
Yes. Yep,
which is really quick.
but then you would get your revenue stream in
Yeah.
the next year, 24.
Even if we pass it in November, we get it in 24.
If you would pass it in, yes.
As long as it's
But if
passed
you
before-
did it, if you waited till November, didn't pass it in November, and have to go out the next time,
Right, then it's
then it would be 25.
Yeah.
So that's I don't care, I mean, it doesn't matter to me when, I just wanted to make sure everybody had that information.
Council, anybody else?
What's the cost to put it on and, I mean, I knew we did the fire, it was pretty hefty.
Yeah, when we did the fire, I think we paid 19,000 for Mount Healthy and 19,000 for North College Hill, because there were only 2 or 3 issues on the whole ballot.
Yeah, and
so
they
we had
won't
to-
tell you ahead of time anymore.
Right.
Well, they gave us an estimate, but it was low. We had to pay for everybody who
Dropped
worked
out.
at the polls here in Mount Healthy, and then all the processing they did down at Hamilton County at the Board of Elections.
That's the issue. The more issues there are on the ballot, the less it costs every individual issue. But I think it ended up us and one other that year. That was it.
Two
There were like
things, two or three
six that
things, yeah.
filed and ended up only two.
That's right.
why it costs so much.
Yeah.
So it's a crapshoot, honestly.
May.
Well, if we're gonna do it in May, we have to file by early February, we have to get the auditor's certification. We have to,
approve that.
we have to pass a resolution to do that, and then pass a resolution to put the levy on the ballot all before the 1st of February.
That's a lot to do before February 1st, so
Yeah,
then
so-
let's do November.
Because you have
I
to,
would say August.
August, I'm sorry.
We could try August, and then if that doesn't pass then, we could do again in November.
I don't think you could do the earliest. You have to pass something first to sort of authorize the certification.
Right.
Then that can take 10 days.
Yep.
Then you got to pass the next one to
To put the
put
levy.
it on the ballot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is there a large enough window between August and November to get it all?
We have to pass it in July to go to the November, because it
Yeah,
has to be like,
If it doesn't pass, and then we can just rescind the order.
because it's like the day
Yeah.
after the election day that we
Yeah,
have to
everything.
have to
yeah.
file it.
So, just one, yeah.
Yeah, we've done that in the past.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yep.
So what are you thinking, council? August?
August. Give us more time.
Let's work on that then.
Okay, we'll get the ball rolling.
You got time now.
Peggy, you're
but
being awful
We have
quiet.
to do that by May. We have to
Right.
file by, everything by May, so.
Just the same 1.54, this is just as we did before.
I think so.
I think we should just stick with, my opinion, yes, I
I didn't hear the
don't
question,
want
I'm
to speak
sorry.
for, the mills, 1.54, same as we had in the past.
It's about 125,000, 1.54 mil. That's what it had been for 20 years before, and that's how we advertised it last time, so keep it the same.
It's not really an increase, although there was a couple of years there where they didn't pay it, so. You have to call it a new tax, I guess, and an increase in tax.
Right.
So May 10th is the deadline then.
May 10th?
Yes. They must be certified or filed by 4 PM.
Got it.
Okay,
Well, that gives us time.
that gives us more than that time.
And we need to do some education over the summer before the August election.
Right.
Any other old business, council? New business? We'll probably be here quite a bit because Denise is not here to make a motion to adjourn.
Does anyone have any additional questions or comments for Ben? He wasn't gonna stick around for the committee meeting or anything, but
How soon do you need a fire truck, Ben?
We're working on that. The chief sent all the information to the grant writer, so I think it'll be determinant on that, but.
Well, let's keep our fingers crossed for that grant.
Yes, sir.
What's it cost, 400,000?
No, it's more than that.
7 or 8, right?
Half a million?
Yeah,
No,
yeah.
about
Yeah.
almost.
Yeah, there's been
close.
some serious inflation.
If we buy a used one, maybe 3/4.
I think
Get the
Steve
REO
mentioned,
Speedwagon back?
Yeah.
I think Steve had mentioned that maybe even that grant was potentially going away. I don't know if it was maybe gonna be a funding source in the future. So I think he said him and some other fire chiefs had written some letters to state reps and just trying to keep that funding source or that grant source going, but there's potential it may not exist in the next couple of years.
Just bad news. Yes?
I did have one other question for Ben. When I went through and read this, did we roll any of our trucks for the fire ticking? Because
Yes,
They
once the ambulance became available from the EMS run, they brought the engine to the scene. So yes, so we had the fire chief and our fire truck.
Okay, so follow-up to that is, how did it perform? Do we have any maintenance issues? Because I know it's like 25 years old.
Right. No maintenance issues that,
Okay.
that I heard about, no.
Okay, great.
I'll throw in for the public works. I've got it mentioned in the memo, but they did however many hours worth of plowing and salting, but Justin and I I want to say Nick also got called to the fire as well. So within 24 hours of having finished the roads, they got called to Teagan because Elizabeth, that part of Elizabeth wasn't
Put
plowed
salt
or
down.
salted as much, yeah, so they had to salt back and forth, make sure the trucks could get out, you know, stuff like that, so. I think he said the backhoe was there at one point too, but
It was, yeah.
they, basically had to pull it right back out, just the ground was, they couldn't get close enough to the building, and it was gonna get stuck if they didn't just pull out of there, so. We had everybody there, yeah.
It takes a lot. A lot of people working together.
Yep.
Mutual aid's a wonderful thing. Because we couldn't, obviously you couldn't have handled it by yourself.
Correct.
It's just, small communities need that.
Grateful for all the efforts that were made.
Yes.
Yep.
Luckily, nobody was hurt.
Yes, most
Yes.
importantly.
Absolutely. Yep.
Any other new business?
I'll make a motion to adjourn if nobody else
Mr.
will.
Redding has made a motion to adjourn. Do I have a second? Peggy? Peggy seconded. Ms. Rissel seconded. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion is carried.